I am walking 92 miles in 3 days to hand deliver a letter to 10 Downing Street. Yesterday I walked 31 miles, today it's 37, and tomorrow I still have another 23. I'm 1 day into my 3-day trek and I am not feeling too fresh this morning. It's 5 a.m. My Whoop is not pleased with the state I'm in. I was like shivering and I couldn't stop shivering. I went to sleep at like 8 o'clock and I woke up at like 10 and I was drenched in sweat but still shivering. So I was definitely majorly dehydrated. So I've just been trying to get as much water down me as I can, get the bag packed, and then we move. My legs are very, very sore. It's not a good way to be starting the day. The longest day, 37 miles. So we must keep moving. We're officially on the move now. A lot of today is walking along the side of the canal. I need a good run this morning. The mistake that I made yesterday is like put me quite off key. The shakes in the night, proper dehydration. So I need to like properly rehydrate today. Otherwise it's gonna get bad. Probably dangerous. Talking of dangerous, so we don't fall in. I need to get the blood going around the legs because at the moment I'm walking funny because they're so stiff. My knees and my hips. I'm just an old man. Thank you to all of your donations. It means before midday today we can hit £3,000. That'll mean we've tripled our target by the middle of day 2. We're about an hour in. I've drank now the same amount of this in the first hour as I did in the whole day yesterday. I just now know that it was an absolute schoolboy error to only drink half a bottle of water. So I'll be trekking through Reading and I'll be able to get myself a refill somewhere. But obviously because of the severe dehydration this morning, I didn't have a coffee. And I gotta tell you, I'm thinking about coffee. The sun's not up, but it's light. I'm just going past the quarry. I don't know if you can see that. Mentally, I feel good. Probably the biggest fundamental error I've made so far is that I didn't pack my electrolytes. Forgot them. But we move. We move. I've just had one of my bars and now I've just got this like hunger urge to eat more peanut bar. Gonna get that down me as well. All of a sudden I feel absolutely starving. Don't normally eat sugar. It's a case of needs must at the moment. Yesterday was quite fun and games. Today I'm thinking about the mileage a lot, looking, checking how far have I gone, how far do I need to go. I just got to keep thinking about the cause and why we're doing this, and that's what's keeping me going. We're 10 miles in for day 2. I'm gonna take some more ibuprofen and paracetamol. I drink a lot of caffeine because I haven't had a coffee. Might be playing a role in why I've got a headache. Oh, I've just pinged that on the floor. So hard to bend down. If I got nothing else from my teenage years, the ability to swallow lots of pills in one go was definitely one of them. Eating like an animal. And we move. Thinking about touching it just to wake me up a bit. Very, very close to halfway, as in halfway for the whole thing. 23 miles left today, but until then, we move. I wonder if you're going to be able to see this. Probably can't through the trees there, but that's Reading Services. This here is the M4. Once you get on the motorway, about 45 minutes to get to this point along that motorway. I've been walking for like 20 something hours. Oh, mate, away. It's almost 5 hours into day 2 and I am feeling desperate to reach Reading. There will be a chance for some food, water and those damn needed electrolytes.
But I'm buoyed by the mission. This letter for Downing Street is keeping me going. I just need to keep moving.
So it's been a little bit of a while since I updated you, but I am now walking through Reading. Got myself some electrolytes, got myself a Powerade and got that drank. Walking through the town and stuff's not as fun. There was a coffee machine in Tesco's and I gambled and thought, I'm not gonna get a coffee from there, I'm gonna wait and go in a proper coffee shop, but I don't want to stop anywhere. Time is of the essence. It's the Nakoa social tonight. I've got to be there at 7:30. As it stands, I'm gonna get there at 8. So I need to be walking fast to make up that time. Is that my latte there? Thank you. Rather stupidly, I didn't get the GoPro out and capture it, but a lovely lady, she recognized me, follows me on Instagram, and stopped and walked with me for 2 minutes, and it was the boost I needed. Still got 15 miles to go, having done 22. And by the way, look what I'm walking up at the moment. Just to get over there. Oh, stairs is not what you need. She said, I thought I recognized you. And then she checked on Instagram and was like, oh my God, yeah, he's walking. So she pulled over down the road and then walked with me to the car. Them kind of things when you're doing this thing are massive boosts, you know? Fucking hell, sorry, I'm walking up these stairs. Anything to boost your mood, you need it, you know? So, that feels good. Got up the stairs and we move. 14 miles to go. While we're up here, got some electrolytes. We got a litre of water. This is gonna come out of the bag and I'm gonna carry this the rest of the way now. 5 hours 43 left. We need to shave 20 minutes yet, which I think is doable. Just gotta keep pumping in those miles. So for the first time, it's taken 50 miles. I can't go where the map wants me to go. It's not right where it wants me to go and I can't go there because there's a train track. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to pick back up where I need to be, but it's difficult to tell, and this is veering off to the other way. Got to Reading, 17 miles done, over halfway overall, but then you look and think, I still got 20 miles left today. I'm not even halfway today. So I'm hoping I don't veer too off course here, because it wouldn't be good. I've got to get to the Nakoa social. I cannot lose time. This fucking terrain, man.
It felt good to be back on track, but that stop in Reading and going off course, time slipping away. I was so focused on making the Nakoa social, I had to keep pushing. To be fair, the map's been solid, but that one mishap cost me. I'm staying focused, but it's tough when every mile feels like a marathon.
Getting very taxing on my legs now. Very taxing. The stairs, very difficult. How do we get to that path? Ah, there it is. Yeah, I feel quite reflective looking at the goalposts there. Just remembering back like when we were kids. Just hours down the field, you know? And I know a lot of people talk about the kids of today and social media and the phones and the devices, and it's sort of like an oversaid thing, but we used to do days, just full days until it got dark, just down the field playing football. I feel, you know, I feel sorry for the kids that they don't do that today. Certainly not as much. Football saved my life, really. There was times when football was the only escape, especially in my late teens, early 20s. I remember literally the full-time whistle would go after 90 minutes and I'd feel the cloud come straight back over my head and I'd have to go back. Yeah. I wonder how many kids come out here and play in these goalposts. Not as many as 30 odd years ago, I expect. I wish I could tell you how hard it is just to get over that now. Oh. Oh. The fatigue is kicking in, the coat's back on, it's started to get very cold. I don't know if that's just my tiredness, but I'm feeling it. With no training whatsoever, I can feel the impact it's having. But we keep going. We keep going. Time for another compede. Because I lost my toes on my left foot, it's been mainly my right foot that has all the issues. Oh, honestly, the best, most important piece of kit that I've bought is the compedes. But you can't feel them, you know, like a plaster's crap in it. For a blister. I stink, man. Oh, something's just happened to that blister on the front of my foot now. He's bad underneath there. I don't know if you can see it under that compede, but it's a fucking bad one. We gotta keep going. We gotta keep going. I gotta get through that. We're bang up against it with time now. I don't know, how am I gonna get across this now? Ugh. The motorway that I so often, if I do drive along to get to London. And I'm moving quicker than the cars. Yeah. We move. I'm very much in the middle of nowhere again now. I have no idea how I walked on this terrain 12 hours yesterday. Horrendous. This is like anything though, when the ending is near, everything gets a bit harder.
Listen, it might not look much, but with the legs being almost completely gone, my body wasn't ready for stuff like this.
So, we gotta go down here now. No strength in my legs, and that ends in water down there. This is slippery as fuck. Oh. Yeah. Ugh. Now this might look little, but fucking hell. Ugh. We made it. 1 mile out. 76,000. I can't even deal with this light. Oh, it's even brighter. Oh. 76,000 steps. I'm really struggling now. I'm struggling to walk faster. If I go any slower, I'd be walking backwards. Every step is a trudge. We've raised over 3,000 now, but fucking hell, man. I just gotta get through this now. I hope there's a bath tonight. I'm gonna be late for the Nakoa social. I was supposed to take 15.5 hours. I left at like 5:30, 5:45, but since then, I'm losing time now. It's taking longer than it should. This will be where I get my food tonight. End of.
Ever the people pleaser, I completely downplayed the struggle to the shopkeeper.
All right, mate.
You okay?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Yeah, too much cold, yeah?
Yeah, I'm doing a sponsored walk, so
You walk?
I've walked from Swindon. I left Newbury at 5:30 this morning. Thanks, mate. Cheers. Oh, there it is. The Travel Lodge. It's there, man. I can't wait to get in there. Find out if they've got a bath. Oh, look at those baths. Oh, how do I get in there? How the fuck do I get in there?
I could literally see the entrance, but I could not work out how to get in there. No signs, there's nobody about. You want full context, yeah? This piece of video was 12 minutes long before we chopped it down. 12 minutes bowling about trying to find the bloody entrance.
This fucking better be it. This better be it, I'm telling you. It's not it, man. Where the fucking hell's the entrance? Where's the fucking entrance, man? How the fuck do I get into the travel? I just want to go to the Travel Lodge. I just want to get to the travel lodge.
By now, I'm desperate, exhausted, frantic, delirious, still looking. I've walked 37 miles today on top of what I did yesterday. And now I've done the same 200 meters over and over again until I finally found it.
Stairs. This is what we need.
Up some fucking stairs.
Weird question, has the room got a bath? Thank you. Lift through here, yeah? Oh, yes. Get in there.
Okay, so this is no exaggeration. You can see that the camera's shaking. This is me walking. Ready? Oh. Yeah! Just a marathon tomorrow. What could possibly go wrong?
My body is in a bad way. There's no getting out of that. I've got to go straight to Parliament today. I'm going to see if I can clean these a bit. Otherwise I've got to wear them to Parliament like that. We're just going to get it on there and hope for the best. The Whoop is telling me it's not in a good way. The Whoop is basically telling me, after a heavy day yesterday, you must rest today. And instead of doing 37 miles, I'm going to do 23. So, relatively speaking, today is a rest. Fucking hell. Yeah. There's no getting around it. That one fucking hurts. We need a day of no rubbing. Compete, if you want to sponsor this video, you know where I'm at. Today, the mission is simple. We got to get to Downing Street for 3 o'clock. We've got 10 hours until 3 o'clock, and the maps tell me 10 hours to get there. We can't be late, otherwise we miss the slot. Say we, I mean me and all the voices in my head. Lastly, but not leastly, ibuprofen and paracetamol. We've been through a lot of these. Trying to keep the swelling down, trying to keep the pain down. Ultimately, the one simple goal, get to Parliament on time. Deliver this letter and make sure that we're such a thorn in the side that the government have to listen. Let's go! One thing's definitely for sure. I've learned a lot about noise pollution. I'm walking next to the motorway here. There's planes landing, I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to be in London very soon, at which point I might, for the first time, put my headphones on. Very much a different vibe today. I might have to put the headphones on in a minute. I miss the tranquility. The fucking noise of the cars is horrendous. Heathrow. Good thing about today is we are mostly walking in the city. I mean, I'm right by Heathrow now, but it means I can get coffee on tap, which is also going to mean I'm going to need a lot of wheeze. I deserve to jet off on a holiday after this, I can tell you. The end is near. I'm walking at a good pace. Breathing exercises are very important, and my legs hurt like fuck. Cheers, bye. If you're skirmish, skeemish, look away now for the next story. I'm going to show you the morning blister on my right toe. I know what you're thinking. That looks rough. Oh, that looks painful. Oh, that's bad. But here's a bit of perspective for you. I haven't got a big toe on my left foot, so, you know, sometimes you've got to look at the positives. Sometimes you've got to look on the bright side. At least I've got a toe. I've had that kind of shit all my life as a child of an alcoholic. At least you had a dad. Yeah, it looks like a bad blister, but at least you've got a toe. Yeah, I think I'm slowly losing my sanity now. Without doubt, the greatest news, the greatest thing has happened. Emily, whose letter I'm delivering to Downing Street, was on Good Morning Britain, the UK's biggest breakfast channel. She was on there this morning with Callum Best, our patron, who some of you will definitely know. And as a result of that and all of the noise that we've made over the last 3 days, we're not just delivering a letter to Downing Street anymore. Normally, you go up to the door, you have a picture at the 10 Downing Street, you post the letter and you hope for the best. The government has heard, the Prime Minister has heard. They have invited us in to 10 Downing Street and we will be having a sit-down conversation with the Prime Minister's policy advisors. This is real change. This isn't for nothing. We've raised now over £4,000. Over £4,000 has been donated since I left around 80 miles ago. We are sitting down with the UK government policy advisors. They are listening. They can't not listen. We're not going away. And this shows you, together with a platform, if you use it correctly, you can create lasting and meaningful change. I've got about 8 miles left to go, 3.5 hours, and then I get to 10 Downing Street and stink the place out. But it's all been worth it. We don't stop. A sit-down conversation is a sit-down conversation. It's not a commitment to change. And that's what we need. We have just surpassed £4,000. Over £4,000 raised. We are talking directly to the Prime Minister's policy makers. It all feels well worth it. And less than 10 miles to go. Killing it!
There's been no ceremony about today. This has just been about get it done. I mean, I've barely got a camera out, to tell you the truth, by this point. It was hard. The pavement was solid. King Charles in there gets a fucking pillow rolled out whenever he needs it, and I'm here busting all of these miles just to get what people deserve. In a sad turn of events, I've just kicked a sticking up bit of pavement, and I think that's the end of that blister. Can't be sure, but I wasn't feeling it, and having kicked this thing and nearly gone over, I'm feeling it. So, obstacles, you know. After 92 miles, I am now 0.4 miles from 10 Downing Street. I'm all but spent. Can't wait to get there now. But the next phase begins now. We got to go in and 10 Downing Street, make an impression, try and get some change. Then 2 hours after that, we'll be heading to Parliament. I'll be giving a talk there alongside some other people, and we continue to drive change. Very difficult to make content for you now. Feeling so spent. Yeah, it's down in there. Seemingly true to form for my arrival anywhere on this fucking walk, I arrived at Downing Street. The wrong end. You alright, mate?
Hey, man. I was thinking we'd be on the other side.
What, so I need to go down onto Whitehall?
Yeah.
It says 5 minutes for me to walk round.
Oh, good luck. Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
Only 5 minutes.
I am the wrong side, apparently, but it takes 5 minutes to walk round to the other side. But for all intents and purposes, I've made it. I'm at Downing Street. 92 miles. Done.
92 miles through the mud, over the ridgeway, along the canals, out of tranquility and into the chaos of Britain's capital. I've walked through highs and lows, pushing through pain, doubt and exhaustion. But I kept going, not just for myself, but for every child living in the shadow of a parent's drinking. Waiting for me at Downing Street with the rest of the Nakoa family. Jonathan Ashworth, the MP, Callum Best, and Amelie and her mum. And Amelie is the girl who wrote the letter I carried, a child of an alcoholic, just like I was. She was there with her mum, a reminder of who I once was and who I did this for. Because this wasn't just a walk, it was a mission to deliver a message and a call for change, for better support, for real recognition of the 1 in 5 children whose lives are shaped by a parent's drinking. This journey was for them, for the child I once was, lost, scared and alone. but also for a future where no child has to feel that way. Because some things are too important to stay silent about.
92 miles done.
Hello there, well, I'm Jonathan Ashworth, former MP, very proud patron of NACOA, and we're going into Downing Street, where the Prime Minister hopefully is going to receive a letter that this incredibly impressive young lady, Emily, has written about the impact that parental alcohol abuse has on children. I was a child of an alcoholic. We've got other brilliant campaigners here, including this great man, great man, who has... What have you done today again? Oh, the last few days?
92 miles.
92 miles.
Yeah, over 3 days, yeah.
You've walked here?
Walked it, yeah. Through dark forests, farms and fields.
Amazing. Yeah. That's absolutely brilliant. Doing this for the National Association of Children Alcoholics, a fantastic charity. But we've got to go into Downing Street now, and we're going to ask the government to put in place a proper support to help every child impacted by parental alcohol abuse.
We'll do a little hop along here. Right, but it shows that your effort for the cause, you know. Emily, you want to give it a knock? See you. Go on, mate. Good man. How are you? You alright? All good? Man, I really appreciate you coming on this whole 92-mile walk journey with me. It was crazy in the end. I mean, I never understood how much physical toll it would take on my body. And it was crazy that when we arrived at Downing Street, by the time I got there to 10 Downing Street, not only was I just delivering the letter, but they invited us in. And we thought we was going to go in and quickly say hello, try and say our piece to some of the people that mattered. But they ended up giving us a tour. We were in there for about an hour and a half. We had a sat down conversation with some of the key policy makers within government. And so this went from being a walk where I was just going to hand deliver a letter at the end to being national news and being something that really truly could create meaningful and lasting change and restart and reignite those conversations that are really needed at a policy level. I've always recognized, or certainly have done in the last 10 years, I've learned that in order to create meaningful change at a policy or government level, it's more than just trying to get them to see what's needed. You have to capture the imagination of the public. You have to do these things that can try and get people on board to realize that the issue is needed and then put pressure on the government from there. And that's what we did. And, you know, at the point of making this video now, which is a month or so after the journey, there is still stuff going on in the background, and this still could be the catalyst that creates real lasting and meaningful change. If you'd like to watch the talk that I went on to do at the House of Commons, just an hour after completing the walk, after being in 10 Downing Street. The crazy thing is, by the way, I'm walking into Downing Street with Callum Best, one of the best dressed, best smelling men in the planet, and I'm stumbling about the place after a walk like that. But I ended up giving my talk that way. You can watch that at the end of this video. I'd love for you to stay and watch that. And if you haven't subscribed and you are new here and this is one of the first times seeing the content, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a comment on this video, like it for me. And we're going to be making much more content like this that has that kind of activism underfeel and is about creating meaningful change. We raised over £5,000 for NACOA off the back of this. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone that supported and continues to support the cause. We won't stop here. We'll always push for more of that change. But as ever, I'm so grateful to you, to everybody for their support. And like I say, I'd love for you to stick around at this channel, support it in the best way that you can, and let's still push for that change that's needed.
It's Josh Connolly.
Thank you, yeah. Mo Farah's that's the first time I've been introduced in that way.
I should have said Forrest Gump.
All right, I'll take the first one. We're also 3 minutes ahead of schedule, so I'll take that as well. I will. Look, firstly, I want to say thank you to everybody that supported me on the walk in the last 3 days. It was hard. It was grueling. The first day was probably the hardest because in typical COA fashion, I just thought everything will be all right. I'll get to the end and sort it out when I get there. And I got to the first checkpoint in Newbury with severe dehydration because I hadn't drank or eaten anything throughout the day. To just tell you for a second how the idea came about 4 weeks ago, I text Piers and said, it's been 10 years. This is my 10th year at NACOA. I might walk to Parliament when we go there. And he's like, yeah, all right, just let me know when you're going to do it. And that was it. And then, about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, we thought, oh, maybe it would be a good idea if we delivered the letter from Amelie. And it built from there, really. And the one thing that I've learned, one of many, many things that I've learned over the years. Can I lean on this? Don't know how stable it is. Yeah, can I touch it there? The one thing that I've learned is that a lot of what we have to do is build narrative in the public. We have to build narrative. We have to, quote unquote, play the game a little bit to get the message out there. And so it just seemed like the perfect idea in the end to deliver the letter to Downing Street, to couple it with the long walk. And I said to Piers, I'll do it entirely alone. So like yesterday was 15 hours, for example. So the first few hours were in the pitch black and the last few hours were in the pitch black. And I said I'd do it completely alone and with no support to signify the plight of children of alcoholics, but also because I wanted to do it on my own. But it helped with the narrative. I don't know if it's a COA trait, but the idea of walking 92 miles alone seems manageable. Doing it with a bunch of people. Everyone's like, everyone says to me, oh, you're doing it alone. I'm like, yeah, well, I couldn't do it with people, man. So I'm not joking either. So that's true. But listen, to be able to deliver the letter that Amelie had wrote and truly not to sort of COA and deflect. This is not deflection. Amelie's the hero in this, but not just Amelie, Amelie's mum Lucy as well. Emotion. The safety that surrounds Amelie to be able to do what she's doing is what's important. Yeah. It feels very safe for her. It feels very safe for what she's got. And I think when you see the person, and I've spent some time with her now, when you see the person that she is, it also shows you what one loving, present, nurturing adult can do for a COA, right? So yeah. I sort of thought that, I've been walking for hours, so I had plenty of time to think about what I was going to say. And then we were sat down there and I thought, I didn't really think about what I was going to say when I got there. But there's a couple of things. Look, the big thing for me, there's two major points that I want to make. The first one is around why specific funding is so important. A couple of the things that I'm going to say here are going to be a little bit crunchy. I don't mean for them to be crunchy, but I think we need to start talking about people's experiences in a clear and direct way, because one of the issues growing up as the child of an alcoholic is I never get to fully talk about my experience without people making me make them feel more comfortable, and without me having a sense and a feeling that I should make them feel more comfortable. The reason that specific funding, not just grouping it together with other addiction services, is important. We were at there was a group of us that were at an addiction event recently, which was amazing. I'm in recovery myself. I'm not just the child of an alcoholic. I'm nearly 13 years sober myself, right? So I'll thank you. But I can speak from both sides here. And as we sat in a row and everybody celebrated the recovery that people have gone through, and rightly so, it's incredible when people get recovery and get sober, I did also sit there and think my voice and my story as a COA wouldn't be welcome here. Because as they sat and talked about their, people, and this happens, people talk about their experiences, and I'm so glad that they do. I'm so glad we're creating a space where people that have struggled with addiction get to talk about their experiences with full honesty and clearly. I could not have gone and sat at the front of that room and said, my dad ruined my life because of the way that he drank, and I'm still trying to heal from it today. Not without everybody thinking that I was bringing the mood down. Right? So I couldn't have gone and proclaimed that I'm the child of an alcoholic at the front. For me, that's like a metaphor and signifies the importance of us needing something separate, right? I think that's a metaphor for that. I think that we need spaces to be able to talk about our experience in exactly the way that we want to talk about it. There's a lot of discussion around language, the way that we should talk about this. The biggest stigmatizing experiences I had as a child growing up with my dad in the secrecy that nobody knew about. Nobody knew about. The biggest stigma I faced was the amount of people that thought they knew what was best for me, that thought they knew how I should talk about my experience, that thought they knew the best language for me to use. The best thing I needed was support so I could talk about my experience with freedom like any other child should be able to talk about their experience. All right, so that's really important. And finally, on the specific funding piece, when we look at the amount of children that are affected by this, 2.6 million, 1 in 5 children, whatever statistic that you want to look at, the greatest thing we could do for those kids, for the 2.6 million, is get them in a room with a counselor and a therapist and their mum and their dad, whichever one's drinking, sit round and do a family approach, because that's what works and it's amazing, yeah? And we've seen that. And people talk about success stories when you do a family approach, and that's amazing if your family is willing to engage in that. And out of that 2.6 million, I'm afraid that ain't many of them. I'm afraid it ain't many of them. I wish it was. It ain't. And a child's right to healing, recovery, empowerment should not be dependent on whether their family are willing to engage in services. The helpline, the website, everything that we've built with NACOA now means, and we've done that entirely alone, yeah? Now means that when a child is struggling, they can engage with a service, even if their mum or their dad, or they don't have a family member that can help them engage in that service. So that's why specific funding becomes vital. The second thing that I want to talk about, and I've still got 10 minutes according to that sheet. So I might add a third on. The second thing that I want to talk about, and I've entirely lost my trail of thought now. I'll say it again while I try and think about what it was. The second thing that I want to talk about is we have to be a little bit careful that we don't get lost trying to fix the addiction problem. You ain't going to fix it. Not in my lifetime, right? And let me say this. If alcohol didn't exist, would I have grown up in a very functional, rosy family environment? No. No, I wouldn't. We have to be careful that we don't get lost thinking that we can save and fix this for all these children. We can't, and we won't. We can't solve the addiction problem. We can't, and we won't. What we can do is make sure that every single child that grows up in this environment where a parent is struggling with alcohol addiction, that they know and understand to some level at least that they are not the reason that it is happening. It's very easy for us to run off trying to stop alcohol, trying to tackle alcohol, making alcohol the evil. And listen, I'm down with all of that. I understand all of that. And we should do all of that. It's needed. We should look at all of that stuff, yeah? But if you'd have done that to me when I was a child, got busy fixing the alcohol over here, I'm over there, still a COA, still not understanding my experience, and nothing's changing. My dad died when I was 9 years old. The alcohol problem was solved in my household. We moved across town. My mum met my stepdad. We lived a much more functional family environment. I don't know if functional exists, right? But it was much more functional. My problems didn't go away. I walked into Nakoa when I was about 24 years old. And for the first time ever in my life, I realized that what I was feeling and what I was experiencing wasn't my fault. Nobody had ever told me that what I was experiencing and the way that I was feeling wasn't my fault. All right? What I needed when I was a child is what Nakoa gave me when I was 24 years old. And what they gave me was quite simple. An understanding of what I was suffering from. There's 1 in 5 kids living with a parent that drinks too much. Every single one of those should have a human right to understand that they are not the reason that their parent drinks too much. And I still got 7 minutes, but I'm not going to use it all. Look, I'm going to wrap it up here. I know that for a lot of my life, I was chasing being seen. I know that now. I didn't know that. I remember I used to cry watching X Factor in my late teens, early adulthood. You know, when someone sang and they said they'd never sang in front of someone, and then everyone stands up and gives them a standing ovation. And I never understood why it used to make me cry so much. It made me cry because I knew something was burning inside me, but I felt like I'd never have my moment because I didn't know how to get you to see me. Nakoa's helped you see me. We need to make sure that the children get an opportunity to be seen in that way. They have a right to do that. And I'll finish with this metaphor because I know Hillary likes it. Throughout most of my life, I felt like I was on a sinking ship. And we were sinking in this ship, and I was just at the bottom of the ship with a bucket, trying to empty the water out, and I was doing it just fast enough that I could keep my head just above the water. Everybody that saw that my ship was off course and that it was sinking, jumped on the boat, saw my problem, knew what was right for me, and knew how to fix it. They steered my ship and got me back on course, and then they all celebrated, look how amazing we are, we've saved Josh and got him back on course. 2 weeks later, when the ship went back off course, everybody scratched their heads and said, if you don't want to help yourself, why should we bother helping you? They didn't see that my experience never changed. The whole time I was on the bottom of the ship, emptying the bucket, emptying the water, trying to keep my head above something that was manageable. What Nakoa does in some ways is very, very simple. They jump on the ship, they grab a bucket each, and they empty some of the water so that I get to go up and try and steer my ship on course. I ain't getting on course quickly, yeah? And when I get there, I ain't necessarily staying there, but I got way more chance when it's done through empowerment of staying on course than when you keep trying to fix me. I'm going to leave it there with 5 minutes to spare. Thank you.